Everybody dies. That's one fact in life you can never run away from. In fact, you're dying right now. You're slowly withering away, but that's okay. I don't know if it's okay, but there's nothing you can do about it. Our limited time frames life from a different perspective. If we never died, we would feel no sense of urgency. Who cares if you fuck around in school? You'll experience why that was a bad idea for yourself, and who cares if you spend your 20s smoking weed and playing video games? I mean, you'll have plenty of time to do more. And you motherfuckers better stop having kids, because if no one dies, there's gonna be too many little demon spawn running around. Our world would be a much different place without death. The fabled midlife crisis would look a lot different too. If you don't already, you will eventually feel a sense of urgency. You have to do something with your life. You'll feel like it's too late. That feeling is because of our limited time, and everyone looks at the present and envies the past. 20-year-olds feel like they wasted their teens, 30-year-olds feel like they wasted their 20s, and 40-year-olds feel the same way, and so on. But all of them have one thing in common. They feel like it's too late. Don't be one of those guys. Because when you hit the next milestone in your life, you'll have the exact same thought about the previous milestone. Just make the best with the time that you have. Perhaps the reason that you quote-unquote wasted the previous milestone is just because you weren't ready. You had things to learn. The real waste is if you waste the things you learn and never apply any of it. Like, damn, I wasted my 20s. Better do a lot with my 30s. You're never gonna look back on your life and be like, man, I wish I had just given up. It was too late for me to do anything with my life. I should have just sat around doing nothing. I'll tell you what, you can give up when you've tried everything. But until then, I'll sit up on my soapbox and preach down to you, like Moses holding the 10 Commandments. You can pretty much do anything. There are some exceptions. There are very few exceptions. The exceptions that you're thinking of probably aren't exceptions. Yes, you could be a rocket scientist, suck a dick, but with the ever-looming threat of death and the inevitability of it, perhaps it would be a good idea to live life. Who fucking knows what you're gonna regret? But if there's one thing I do know, you're not gonna regret taking chances and doing things. Maybe when death grabs you by the balls and fucks you in the ass, there's nothing you can do to feel better. But you sure as fuck can feel better when you're towards the end of your life. Or when you're just, well, fucking living. Yeah, maybe I'm morbing out right now. Get it, death, so edgy. But this is a real consideration, and as much as you don't like to think about it, it is driving most of the decisions in your life. Whether it's preparing for it or trying to ignore it, you're making a decision. And I'm not gonna go on and on about the virtues of building something or improving yourself. I've talked about that in almost every one of these fucking videos, but try fucking something. Don't just do nothing. Stagnation is fucking depression. If you sit around doing the same shit every day, not improving on it, just mind-numbing nothing, you're gonna be fucking depressed, and death will catch up to you before you know it, and it'll be fucking sad. Which brings me to my next point. Your perception of time is very relative. The way you perceive time only exists in your head. You could perceive a minute as an hour, you could perceive an hour as a minute, and if you want evidence of this, go take psychedelics. Okay, don't do that, but go and ask someone who has. A couple hours can feel like an eternity, and when I say an eternity, I literally mean an eternity. So how do you extend your perception of time without destroying your brain with drugs? Well, how do we measure time? It seems like you measure time in events that happen, things that you're doing, and milestones in your life. Therefore, if you have a very busy schedule where you're doing a lot of things, it's gonna feel like your life is a lot longer than if you were to sit around doing the same thing every day. And maybe that's running away from death, but I would argue it's living a more full life. Yeah, maybe I'm coping, but what else can you do? Life is copium. Puff it, smell it, snort it, smoke it, zip it.
Pop it, twist it.